Good morning, children. Today I am going to take the economics lesson 5 industrial clusters in Tamil Nadu. What is meant by industrial clusters? That means relating or characterized by industry. Okay, first one, the introduction. What is meant by industry? Economic activity concerned with the processing of raw materials and manufacture of goods in factories. That is called industries. The next one is, we know very well what is meant by manufacturing. The conversion of raw materials into finished products is called as manufacturing. Then, industrialization. What is meant by industrialization? The industrialization refers to the process of using modern techniques of production to produce goods that are required by both consumers and other producers on a large scale is called as industrialization. What is the importance of the industrialization? Industrialization generates employment opportunities, provides educational opportunities, encourages advancement and innovation, and better utilize resources. The consumer goods such as phones and television sets meet the requirements of the consumers. Industries also produced goods like components, machine parts, and machines that are required by other producers. The historical process of the steady increase in the number and the scale of manufacturing in the country exists for a long time. In this chapter, we learn the nature of the industrialization of Tamil Nadu and importance of the industrial clusters. Okay, let us see the first one, importance of the industrialization. First of all, we all need to understand the and importance of the agriculture, because agriculture consists of the primary activity, three activities: primary, secondary and tertiary, but agriculture belongs to the primary activity and main occupation of the people, and agriculture helps to develop our Indian economy also. The share of agriculture in an economy income and employment decreases with development. First, demand for food remains constant with regard to income. Therefore, as an economy grows and income increases, consumers tend to spend a lesser share of their income and products from the agricultural sector. The second one is, the food that is consumed is subject to more transformation as an economy expands, and there is greater division of labor between people and between regions. Food products are taken over longer distances, processed and branded. This also requires that food products have to be preserved. As a result, the prices that farmers get tend to be much less compared to the prices at which consumers buy. The third one is, there are limits to the ability of agriculture to absorb labor due to the declining marginal productivity of land. As a result, labor productivity in the agricultural sector cannot increase much. Wages too cannot therefore increase, and as a result, poverty levels may remain high, especially when more and more people continue to rely on agriculture for their livelihood. Due to all these, the three factors, the first one is agriculture, second food consumer, and then third, these factors, there is need for an economy production and employment base to diversify away from agriculture. Development economics therefore recognizes that need for structural transformation of the economy, where the share of non-agriculture sectors tend to get increased steadily. Such sectors tend to increase. The transformation and diversification through the industrialization is therefore seen as important for an economy's development. Okay, the next one is, what benefits does industrialization bring to an economy? As stated earlier, it is an essential to produce inputs to other producers in an economy. Even agriculture requires inputs from industry such as fertilizers and tractors to increase productivity. The second point is a market exists for both producers and consumer goods. Even services like banking, transport, and trade are dependent on production of industrial goods. The third one is by using modern methods of production, industries contribute to better productivity and hence lower cost of production of all goods produced. It therefore helps people to buy goods at a cheaper rate and help create demand for more products. The fourth one is through such expansion of production, industrialization helps to absorb the labor force coming out of agriculture. Employment generation is therefore an important objective of industrialization. The fifth one is a related advantage of industrialization is therefore technological change. More changes in the technological. Through use of the modern techniques, industrialization contributes learning of such methods and their improvement. As a result, labor productivity, that is output per unit of labor input, increases, which can help workers earn higher wages. The sixth point is expanding incomes lead to more demand for goods and services. If an economy is not able to produce enough to meet such demand, it has to rely on imports and therefore spend a lot of foreign exchange. These 6 points are important. That benefit does industrialization bring to an economy? The next side heading is types of industries. Okay, let us see the what are the types of industries. The industries can be classified on the basis of the first one is uses, the second one is type of inputs used, the third one is ownership, and then size. Okay, let us see the first one, uses. If the output is consumed the final consumer, it is called a consumer goods sector. If the output is consumed by another producer, it is called a capital goods sector. There are industries that produce raw materials for other industries such as cement and steel. Such industries are called as basic goods industries. The type of inputs used. The industries are also classified on the basis of kind of raw material used such as agro processing, textiles, sector, rubber products, leather goods, etc. The third one is ownership. Firms may be privately owned or public owned. Public owned, that means by the government, that is whether state government or central government. Jointly owned by the private and public sector or cooperatively owned, that is cooperatives. Then size. The firms may be large, small or medium based on their volume of output, sales or employment, or on the basis of the amount of investment made. It is based on the investment only. The Indian government normally uses the investment to decide whether a firm is small, medium or large. They will decide only the consideration of the investment. There are also micro or tiny enterprises that are smaller than even small firms. This classification is important because the government often provides financial infrastructure, that is a construction, building, everything, or infrastructure, or subsidy support to the smaller firms to promote them. The small sector is seen as important for two reasons. First one is it is believed to generate more employment than the large scale sector, which is likely to use more advanced and automated technologies and therefore many not generated even employment. The second one is small scale sector allows for the large number of entrepreneurs to emerge from less privileged backgrounds. Till the 1980s, it was widely believed that large firms are more efficient and can outcompete the smaller firms. But at present, based on experiences of industrialization in different parts of the world, It is believed that when small firms specializing in one sector are geographically concentrated in specific locations and linked to one another through production and learning, they tend to be equally, if not more, efficient than large scale enterprises. Such agglomerations of small firms are called industrial clusters. Agglomerations. That means, agglomerations means that is a mass or collection of things. That is total. The group is called as agglomeration. It is a small firms that is called as a industrial clusters. Okay, next let us see the industrial clusters. Industrial clusters, industrial groups, cluster means groups of firms in a definite geographic area that share common markets, technologies, and skill requirements. An important aspect of the cluster is the nature of inter-firm networks and interactions. Clusters where firms specialize in one stage, the production process and supply inputs or absorb or output of another firm in the cluster is critical to the efficiency and competitiveness of the cluster. The advantages of the industrial cluster or districts was first observed by the famous economist Alfred Marshall in the year of 1920 when he tried to understand the working of cluster of small firms in the metalworking and textile regions in England. While the notion of an industrial district was developed by Marshall, it was only after the success of the small firms in Italy in the 1980s that it became a popular. Policy makers in developing countries like India began to promote them actively as they realized that there are several such small firm clusters in the following country. The following are the chief characteristics of the successful cluster. What are the important things needed to the characteristics of the cluster working very successful? The first one is geographical proximity of small and medium enterprises. The second one is sectoral specialization, that is special attention, close inter-firm collaboration. The fourth one is inter-firm competition based on innovation, a socio-cultural identity which facilitates trust, then multi-skilled workforce, active self-help organization and supportive region and municipal governments. Firms are therefore expected to collaborate and compete with one another at the same time. By collaborating, they can expand their capacity and also learn from one another. Through competition, they are forced to become more efficient. Apart from the Chennai region, the industrial growth has been concentrated in several small towns clusters throughout the state, with the western region being more dominant. These clusters specialize in the range of activities like clothing, home furnishing, textile, leather, poultry, care products, transport, equipment servicing, engineering services, and auto component making. And the next one is, how do clusters originate? The clusters may arise due to many factors. It causes many factors. Certain clusters evolve over a long time in history when artisans settle in one locality and evolve over centuries. Handloom weaving clusters are one examples of this development, or else in some sectors. When a large firm is established, a cluster of firms may emerge to take care of its input and service requirements. At times, government may decide to encourage manufacturing using raw materials from a region, which may also lead to emerge the clusters. Thank you.